Hey y'all, welcome back. Today's topic is going to be about grace. Because what is it really? Multiple people talk about this subject in different ways. I know one way that I've heard throughout the years is grace is considered to be God's unmerited favor. And I have to disagree with that. Because if you look at what favor is and how it functions, favor is designed to give you permission, to give you access to something that you never had access before. An example of God's favor being extended to you could be you're at a job interview and you are not nowhere near qualified for the job that you are being interviewed for. But God gives you favor to get accepted to step into a position that you are not qualified in a natural to do. That's favor, because there was no earthly reason for you to get access to that job. There was no reason for you to even get the interview in the first place, but you got the interview, the person liked you, and there you go. You got access. That's favor. Grace is the empowerment of God's presence to function and perform a task or a purpose or a destiny in Him in the earth realm. So an example of that would be, I'll give you a real fantabulous one. Grace could be you being empowered to break an addiction instantaneously. One example of empowering presence would be to accomplish a task that is impossible for you to do without Him. That's grace empowering us to step into a function or a place in Him that is accessible, but it's only accessible in the presence. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. If you ever seen somebody who seems irrationally gifted in a particular area where they're just absurdly good at something specific, someone who's good at athletics, someone who is absurdly good at athletics. Yes, they train to do it, but there's an unusual enhancement in their ability. One example of grace coming upon a person is, let's say somebody is preaching, right? But they're preaching for 2 and 3 days straight with no food and no water and no sleep. That's the empowering presence of God. That is grace coming upon a person, because they're able to supernaturally step in and move and do things that the earthly human body is not capable of being able to be sustained without the presence of God covering them to accomplish that particular type of task. Another example of grace empowering you is being able to not eat or drink for 6 months straight. I've heard of cases like that. Another example of grace, and I'm going to throw this out here and somebody's probably going to disagree. Yeshua died for us to live. We all know that that's a fact, right? But if Yeshua died for us to live, then that means that we don't have to taste death, which means we can step into a place of immortality. But that would require grace, the empowering breath and presence of God to quicken our mortal bodies so much so where death does not become a part of the conversation of our lives, meaning living forever. That's grace. And this is just a real basic, explanation of the difference between God's unmerited favor and God's grace. Favor is tied to grace, but favor and grace are not the same thing. Favor gives you access to certain things that you probably would not be able to access. Grace empowers you to function in a way that you cannot function without the presence of God resting upon you. So I hope that helps, and I hope you're able to discern the difference between the two. Favor gives you access. Grace empowers you to function. And this was a really quick one too, but I hope this helps, and I hope y'all have a good day.